Hi everyone, if you're an existing subscriber, hello and welcome back. If you're new to my channel, hello, welcome, and why not hit subscribe now? I'm your host, Alicia Vittoria Keane, and I've been interviewing inspirational people and businesses to find out how and why they inspire others. This week I interviewed singer-songwriter Kameelion, who got signed by starting his own YouTube channel and producing his own songs. Since then, Kameelion has been very successful, however also decided to take a break a few years ago to help children achieve their dreams in music. Hello and welcome to the channel. To begin with, if you could just introduce who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, my name's Kameelion. I've been a musician since around 2012. I've been in the industry since then, on and off. But I sort of came onto the music scene after being found on YouTube, posting my own sort of songs just as a hobby. Really, never really thought anything of it. I really wanted to be an actor. Never really been a musician like growing up, like playing piano. I just started doing it as a hobby that I found to be quite a good talent at. Really put them out, and then I ended up being involved in like one of the biggest sort of music management companies to take me further from there. So it was a hobby that sort of expanded into my life for a lot of my years, really, of my 20s.
So, first of all, what I do want to ask is how did the name Kameelion come about?
Yeah, it's quite weird. A few people have asked me that in interviews, and I've always obviously said the same thing. Obviously, I wanted a stage name. I wanted something that was quite unique and quirky and sort of like one word. I didn't want to be my normal name or just a random name, like literally like a stage name, like Robert Jones or something. I just wanted like like a stage name, something quirky that's memorable. And when I was first writing music, I felt like I could adapt to different genres. I used to work with a few rappers. I was doing work with acoustic guitars. I was doing stuff on the piano, like ballads. I was doing quite dancey sort of songs, and I felt like every single song I wrote, I thought, yeah, well, they sound. There wasn't any real genre. I thought, nah, it doesn't really suit. They all sort of worked. So then I thought that's quite a good name. It's sort of chameleon. It's sort of like the animal obviously adapts to its surroundings. I thought I should like adapt to music, and then I eventually stuck to one genre, which was like the more electro pop and the pop sort of Calvin Harris style, and the name sort of carried on, and I just decided to do that from there, really.
I mean, it
Keep
is a
it.
brilliant name. How long were you on YouTube before you got noticed? Were you on there like for quite a while?
Um, Yeah, it was quite a few weeks because what it was, I'm sure you can still do it on the YouTube now. When I used to put my videos on, you could put through like tags, you know what people search for it to come up. So you add a tag and then add like something that's like how your video is going to come up in a search engine because no one would know Chameleon, no one would know the name of my song, so no one would ever find it. So when I was putting up my original music, there's a tag as a search sort of term. I was putting in Chameleon, and then things like what were really popular at the time. I remember I think the Euros or the World Cup was on. I'm a Celebrity was really big, so I was just putting in random celebrities' names, putting in original music, Radio One, new music, new playlists, new artists. And just sort of stuff like that. So my music would sort of pop up. Maybe if someone's watching a video about the World Cup or anything, then it might come up on the side because it's like a relevant video because of the tags. So people might think, oh, or it might just like autoplay after someone's watched the video. And it sort of grew arms and legs from there. I sort of put a few videos out, and I saw the views kept going up and up in the comments, and I thought, actually, people are really liking these songs, and they weren't even done in a proper studio. I just had home equipment that I saved some of my money on, and just had home equipment, and these tracks were really getting noticed by just random people of the public due to having. The tags and the searches in the video included that, so it was coming up. If you know what I mean?
On top of that, you have had quite a few successes that led from that YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think having a stage name such as Chameleon, opposed to your normal name, helped
Uh-huh.
you stand out?
That's a really good question, actually. I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day, it is your talent. I mean, I don't think there's many people in the charts that have just got a normal name and they just think, nah, or a record label would be like, nah, because at the end of the day, it's what's going out there, what people are going to buy, and what what your talent is. If you've got a really great song and your name's just a normal name, I don't think it matters. I just decided to do it personally because my just normal name's Ben Williams. But I know there's been famous artists like Robbie Williams, Andy Williams, but maybe as a DJ, people just call themselves their name. But to be a serious recording artist, I just wanted to have something a little bit above everybody else, and just something that's just, I didn't want to just fade into the background. Ben Williams, you can forget it. You can sort of go, what was his name again? But Kameelion, just one word, boom, it just sort of stays in your mind. So it depends on the talent, I think.
No, I think it is definitely depending on the talent from what I've seen of artists. But like you say, that Kameelion definitely sticks in your mind, that one word.
The only thing that's different is obviously I want to change the spelling because the way you spell the animal is completely different. So it's sort of, I didn't want it to clash. So it's sort of really similar to the animal. It obviously sounds like the animal, but it's spelled completely different, you know?
As I said, you've had many successes. Some of those were on telly, big concerts. Where have you been for the last few years?
Well, it's sort of, I use my experience of being in the industry. I did lots of really big things that some people would like absolutely strive to do. But due to several different reasons in the industry, things happen, you part ways with management companies, you can't agree with deals, it sort of changes. And I didn't have anyone to inspire me into music. I went to performing arts school. I really wanted to be an actor. I've studied musical theatre, really wanted to be, you know, in the West End and things like that. And then I discovered that I could actually write songs. I could play the piano by just playing chords and sort of coming up with catchy tunes. I thought it's a talent here that I never knew I've got, and no one's ever inspired me to do this. So I thought I'll use my contacts and what I've gained in the industry and my experience to try and go in and get the new people. Like, I was like an old timer by then. I was cracking on, you know, in the middle of my 20s. I wasn't a young teenager anymore. So I wanted to get the people who are maybe 14, 15, 16, 17, around when they get to that age, to start getting into music. And it was amazing to find out how many people of young children didn't really know what like bridges were, verses were, choruses, how to like write a song, what a song means, and where you put things, and how you create words together and rhyme couplets and stuff like that. They were just like, they just thought a song was a song and you just sort of rhyme. And some people can have got a simple knack to it to sort of be a bit more creative. Some people can just rhyme songs literally, like, you know, my grandfather's clock had a green sock, or they just try and think of just like, really, they can't really grasp their head about being a bit more imaginative. And not everything has to rhyme, of course. So really, I've just been inspiring children and teenagers into being a bit more creative with songs and getting them sort of contacts in the industry.
How did you find taking a step back from the spotlight? I know you're still inspiring people, and it sounds like it's something what you do enjoy. But I imagine that taking that step back from the wildlife as such wasn't necessarily easy, was it?
Yeah. Do you know what? I sort of used it as, sort of turned a negative into a positive. I see it as a good thing. And rather than being someone that sounds a little bit bitter about, oh, I was like a massive pop star that didn't quite set off or whatever, I sort of use it as, do you know what? I'm just an ordinary lad. I wrote a few songs. I'm from a small town in Wales. I got picked up. I've lived a crazy life, experiencing what it's like to be a pop star, doing big concerts. And then for different reasons, not of my own, it didn't quite set off. But do you know what? I've gained so many contacts. I've gained experience. I want to try and help other people be what I'm doing, if not better, go on and be a chart smash or whatever. So sort of used what I've learned as like a sponge to sort of bounce off and help others. But I found it fine because, you know, things happen for a reason, and where I am now, and I'm still got a fan base, still got my songs out there. Someone could still pick me up again who come across my songs, develop great friends and contacts and amazing experiences that, you know, it's just amazing. But the fact that I can bring it to others and not just leave them behind type thing, and try and inspire, like I said, young children or teenagers to try and strive to be where I was in life, would be perfect.
You didn't have that inspiration. Do you think the music industry is lacking that guidance?
I think it's adapting so much over the years. I think when I first went into it, didn't really have the guidance, but I think there's so much young talent, especially in the UK. that maybe it should be introduced maybe a bit earlier, like in prime. Like I was coming into primary schools. I'm talking about teaching songwriting to people in year 6, like the last year before they go to high school. And I was doing a few like school choirs, like getting them into learning about harmonies, learning about doing modern songs, but putting a twist. I had a few like lads doing a bit of beatboxing, a bit of rapping, trying to get a bit more that music isn't just like about Mozart and Beethoven, as much as that's important. But some kids in primary school just thought that was music. It's about crotchets, quavers, Mozart. Yeah, I came in, turned it completely on its head, and just made it more fun and get them. Do you know what? I really like music and singing, and I want to write songs. And so maybe there should be more guidance, maybe in the school curriculum, as well as social media or courses you can go on or whatever like that. But I saw firsthand that it's not strong in the schools. It often gets just pushed to the back. Music's just banging around on a keyboard. They want to focus on maths, English, science, the main ones, where sometimes kids aren't academic, but they strive so well in music.
I am completely on the same page with you there. And I know for me, I absolutely love music, but music at school, like you say, it wasn't fun. It was all a little bit Mozarty and
Yeah,
choiry all the while.
yeah,
I think it's fantastic that
yeah.
you're there inspiring others. Have you had anyone from who you've inspired go on to be successful?
Um, there was I used to teach at like a little Sunday school, and I used to live in Essex for a long time. There was a Sunday school. One of the girls has gone on to that. She was like a little girl. She was quite young back then. She was only about 6 or 7. I was a singing coach. She was really, really shy. But I was also teaching her confidence, because these kids were going on to audition for things. It's all well and good having a great voice, but in these things, it's so you're judged by the second you walk in the door. If you walk in the wrong posture or don't look them in the eyes, you don't automatically think. So I was teaching them about confidence and how to audition and how to walk into a room, how to give eye contact, how to sort of sell yourself before you've even opened your mouth. And this little girl who I used to teach was like 7 or 8. She went on to be in the West End, I think Matilda or one of those. I can't remember what it is. I think it was she played one of the characters in Matilda anyway in the West End. And a lot of kids have maybe found me on social media, messaged me, hi, I'm doing music now, I'm doing singing lessons, thank you, you inspired me. Who, if I wasn't involved in the school, they might have gone on to do, there's a lot of young lads, some of them might have gone on to play football or hang on street corners, but as long as I know they're taking a drum lesson because of me, then that's great.
And how does that make you feel?
Like, it's just a priceless job. You don't have to get paid to do that. It's the best thing in the world. If someone's gone on to do something and for years later they'll say about the lad that came in or the teacher, whatever they want to call me, to come in that inspired them, then it is priceless. You'll take that with you forever, really, I think.
In terms of your future, you have just released a new song. What do you want your future to look like? Do you want to be back releasing songs again, or are you quite happy where you are now?
Do you know what? It's like when I first got signed up when I was young, you're talking like 18, 19, 20, and I'm cracking on 30 now. I'm 28, 29 nearly, and it's like I'm not out there to be like back on the top of my game again, back being where I was. I do it because it's a hobby, and because I did gain such a good fan base when I did it, I feel like there's still some people. Well, I know, but I can see it with my own eyes. There's people that still listen to my music. There's still my songs played on the radio now and again, and it's like I don't want to just give it up, even though it didn't happen how I wanted it to. So I still want to give to the people. So it's just a hobby that I'm doing. If something happens of it, great. But it's not like I'm back out to be and I'm fighting to be in the charts or something like that. It's not like that. I'm just doing it as a hobby because I love doing it. I can sit here right now on my laptop and make a song if I wanted to and put it out. I've got all the equipment. So it's just a hobby that I'm doing at the moment, just to put out there, just because I've still got people that are still following my music like nearly 10 years later. And I'm not someone that's a massive star, and there's still people that want to follow my music because they like my songs so much. So it's just to give to those people, really.
Would you say that because it's a hobby, supposed to something you are kind of having to make it happen, do you think that's made you more willing to A, accept that it didn't quite work out,
Mm-hmm.
and B, that helped give you that success in the first place?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's just the experiences I've gained and what I've and like the crowds I've performed to. I just feel like it's just too much just to say, oh, that was me back then. I'm just an ordinary Joe. Like I say, being a school teacher or whatever. I still feel like there's something to cling on to because I've just done so much, and what I've learned I can give to other people. And that's what I've sort of, like I said before, just what I've strived to do is help other people, raise awareness to really that it's not always about who you know and a lucky break. It's about having a talent, and lucky breaks do come. I got spotted by, couldn't believe my eyes when it all sort of unfolded in front of me, that who was after me and who really liked my music and where I was next. And I shot down to London and I was doing all this. I was just a young lad. So I wanted to like strive to people that you can make songs from your bedroom quite literally, and if someone really likes it and you've got the right sort of few things around you, it can develop from there. So I'm more happy that I've lived that life, experienced it, inspired others, and I am where I am now. But if I did go on to be really successful, I might have just had a couple of songs that are in the charts or something, then just fizzled away, or a one-hit wonder, and then I could be anywhere now. The fact that I've sort of done a bit the best of both makes me feel really happy, you know what I mean?
Completely get what you mean. For someone who's watching this, if they do decide to release music from their bedroom, as you say,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't necessarily get that breakthrough, what would you say to them?
I would say there's so much, everything's so accessible now. Even again, I'm sounding like I'm an old man, been in the industry. I'm talking about how much it's just changed in 10 years. Like everything was over emails. It was always attaching things on emails and like literally sending memory sticks in the post and CDs to different agencies. Now everyone's on Facebook, Instagram. You can direct message, you can contact celebrities. Everything's so accessible. Yeah, everyone's just so accessible. So I just recommend that if you've got something, you need someone to hear it. There's so many platforms for you to go on to contact the right people, rather than like the olden days where you had to send emails and send things off. You can just literally within a second, you can send someone a link and someone can listen to it the other side of the world straight away. So it's developed so much, even since like 2010, 11, when I was breaking through. There's so much more platforms, and I recommend researching who are the people that listen to the music. They're usually called A&Rs, and they're people who work for the record labels that literally sit in an office all day, listen to demos and go, yeah, good, all right, rubbish, good. And if you get those names, just research who are the A&Rs and get their email address, and then you know your email is going straight to the right person. That's another good tip as well.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Finally, I do have 10 very quick questions.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Definitely vanilla.
Favourite TV channel?
Oh, that's a good one. I think Sky Sports News, because it just covers everything with the football.
What motivates you?
Um, do you know what? Getting up every day's, especially with all this going on now. There's some people that are taking their last breath every day, just living for. I always think live for today, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. I think this year has shown exactly that. Someone's took their last breath while you've gone to sleep. So the fact you've woken up, just life motivates me really.
A very positive one. What's your least favourite type of music?
I think all the death metal stuff. I know it's not really common anyway nowadays, but like the screamo music and just the crash bang wallop on the guitars and drums and screamo music. But I do like all sorts. I do like opera. I say I like the musical theatre, I like the musicals. I like a bit of soul and all that. Pop music, obviously, but I'm not really a fan of bang crash wallop on the old guitar.
What's your favourite musical?
Oh, I like a few obscure ones. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Les Miserables" or Phantom Opera. There's two that I really like. One's called Taboo. It's written by Boy George about his life growing up, being in the culture club, and how it wasn't accepted, being gay and stuff like that. It was actually a really, really good musical. There's another one called Rent, which is a really good one. I think I'm gonna have to think. I think Les Mis, I think, tops it all. I think just because of the songs. The songs are beautiful.
Do you know what? I've never seen Les Mis. I've heard
Haven't
of the
you?
songs. I've not watched it yet. No, I need to.
Brilliant. The film, and if you ever got a chance to see it live when all it's back going again in the theatre, fantastic.
Next question. Do you believe in time travelling?
In time traveling, what, like going back in time?
Do you think it's
Um, I don't think it's a thing, but I do believe in like spirits and things. If that's sort of the same thing, like ghosty spirit things, I don't believe you can go back in time, but I do believe spirits can come back into our time. Hence, well, that's what a ghost is. I do believe in stuff like that, but I don't believe we can physically just rock back up to the Victorian times. Do you know what I mean? On a horse and chariot. But I do believe those horse and chariots can. And you hear that quite a lot. People seeing a ghost and they're like, it was something on a chariot. I do believe there's some sort of weird connection thing. Yeah.
okay? What challenges you?
What challenges me? Um, That's a good question. I don't really know what challenges me. I think being like comfortable in life, you don't ever want to like rely on other people, or when you're cracking on 30, you don't want to be ringing mum and dad asking for money, or you know what I mean. What challenges you is just everyday life. That's another thing you don't really get taught in school: life skills, mortgages, rents, bills, council tax. But, kids don't know anything about that. It suddenly hits them. So I think what challenges you is being secure in life, living a good life, and paying your bills, paying your way, and being comfortable. I think.
What's been your best experience?
The best experience probably performing on telly on Stars in the Rise. That was amazing because it went out to so many people. That was quite, knowing that you were performing to so many people was quite daunting, but really good experience. I also was involved with the Make a Wish charity, which is a charity for people, for young children who have got a terminally ill disease. And a young girl with cancer was a really big fan of my music and wanted to meet me as one of her wishes. So we granted that, and I got to meet her. And it was considering she had the option to meet anyone she wanted, because the charity can meet anybody, David Beckham, whoever. She chose to meet me as a wish, which was probably my career highlight, I think. Yeah.
No, that sounds like, yeah, it must have been a career highlight for that.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything's topping that.
You're having a dinner party. You can choose
Right.
3 people to come. Who are you choosing?
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Who would I like to sit with? Definitely. Do they have to be alive?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive? I think Michael Jackson, just to say that I've sat and had food with Michael Jackson. Who else? Oh, Christ. Do you know what? I always loved David Beckham as a kid. He was like my idol. Again, just to have like a chat with him would just be amazing. And who else would be my final person? Oh, I don't know. I can't think of a third person. Oh my god. Yeah, Michael Jackson, David Beckham, and probably Gary Barlow, because he's such a good songwriter, and I could talk about music and songs and stuff like that.
That's a good choice. Last question. Who's one person that you look up to?
Yeah, I think my parents, because I was brought up in a really solid household, like mum, dad, married, not divorced. I never did that thing. I had to go and see my dad on the weekend and all. It was like solid household, and I always, they both had good jobs, and I thought that's the only people I've really looked up to. Is just like, I wanted to give that when I'm old. I want to be in a solid, everything's solid, comfortable, living a nice life, and obviously that's exactly what I'm doing now. But yeah, so I'd say my parents I look up to as like idols, my heroes.
Well, Kameelion, thank you very much for your time this evening. Thank you for sharing
Pleasure.
your story.
Thank you.
It just goes to show that you never know at what point you will get noticed. So if you're trying to achieve a dream, keep going, keep being positive in your approach, and eventually someone will notice you, or you'll have that breakthrough. As we heard Kameelion talk about, he just started producing his own songs on YouTube and never even expected to get signed by a record label, and it happened. So things like this do happen, but you have got to keep going, stay positive, and don't give up. Now, you can follow Kameelion at the links here. If you have someone that inspires you, comment below. I'm always so interested to find out who others find inspirational. Likewise, if you have an inspirational story to tell, comment below, drop me a message on social media, or even drop me an email. And I'll be back here on Wednesday to inspire your story. But until then, keep going. See you laters!